very unique set of people who had kind of got together, kind of in hindsight, India's, or probably, I don't know, world's first co-living, co-working space. But I think it was a similar question which was driving everyone, because everyone was trying to figure out what is life. This is a conversation with Jubin. Jubin has had an extraordinary journey. He started working remotely from the Indian Himalayan mountains as early as 2013. And he accidentally started a experiment at the time in co-living, co-working back in that day. He then went very extreme on the spiritual path as well. At a certain point, he renounced everything to just walk for 6 months along the Narmada river with no belongings, no money, nothing. This is a traditional, ancient Indian spiritual tradition. After going to this extreme, he realized that he, in fact, did not need to be away from the world to actually walk the spiritual path. So he again came back to the corporate world, and as of today, he leads the global marketing team for an enterprise-grade Indian company. So while he keeps traveling to international business cities like Dubai, New York, more frequently Bangalore, he has found his base in this enchanting town called Tiruvannamalai in South India. This town is based around this holy mountain called Arunachala, and it was also the abode of the saint called Ramana Maharshi. So throughout this conversation, we use terms like Maharshi, Arunachala, the mountain, Tiruvannamalai, the town. And in most conversations, these all point to the same thing, the universe or God, something higher that you believe in. So for example, when Jubin says that Maharshi is guiding him, you can mean it to say the universe is guiding him or his intuition is guiding him. With that context, please enjoy the conversation. Jubin, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Susmeet. Thank you for having me.
We've known each other for a long time now, and I had the pleasure of seeing your journey through the last 8 or 9 years. And it's been so interesting for me to have a glimpse of it. And today I would like to break it down further. And so I would like to start with you narrating how a day in your life looks different before and after you took a break from the corporate life, to say. So in the early days at your story, when you would show up to office and you would spend a day in Bangalore working, as opposed to even now you go to Bangalore sometimes and you spend a day working. What's different?
Everything is different and nothing is different as well. There will be paradoxes in that sense. But I think it's a journey, as in, like, this has been a journey of basically the day looks similar to what it is now. And when I had taken the break, there was no, so to say, we don't take a break, as in, like, it happened, life happens, and it so happened that 4 5 years at that time there was no intention of, so to say, going back to the corporate world in some sense. So 2016 is when I left your story, and after that, for 4 or 5 years, the life was completely devoted to the spiritual path, and it still is. As in, what has changed is this distinction that, okay, this is spiritual, this is not spiritual, and now when you look at it, and the whole journey, as I see it, was kind of about the guru finding me, or because you look at it from a lens also that I am trying to look for a guru, but again that doesn't work. So for me, it was a 7 year journey of churning and kind of coming to this deep sense of peace at home. That, okay, Maharshi is taking care of everything, and he'll hold me, and my job is just to surrender. So I was just very happy being a devotee, and with that, he kind of placed me in things that you cannot avoid, whatever you have to kind of go through in life. So whatever I had a rejection against, I didn't want to get married, I didn't want to buy land, I didn't got a full-time job. So Tiruvannamalai in some sense has been, I've had to do all the things which I was resisting, and he has made it very sahaj in some ways. I think there's no inner conflict that okay, I am in Tiruvannamalai and doing a corporate job, but yeah, there's no difference between this and that.
Wow. So this is not at all how I was planning to have this conversation. Abhuvek, you mentioned this. So we are recording this in Tiruvannamalai. I came here 1 week back and I almost feel like it's doing something similar to me.
Mm.
And I have been nomadic for the last 3 years. I've been running around places. And right now I'm being shown the mirror just by being here. It's like I have to just confront what I'm doing. Like it's showing me how I'm just running away, how I'm afraid of, being seen, sitting at one place. And it's challenging everything that I've been doing so far. So, well, I suppose this is what this mountain does. This is what this town does. This is what Maharshi does.
Yeah, yeah. I think Arunachala, I think in the literal, uh, there are beautiful meanings to it. As in, one, this is from Nochur Venkatraman, also one of my gurus, who, because of his talks, is why I kind of landed up here. He was kind of a nimit messenger for me to come closer to Arunachala. He puts it beautiful, like Aruna is fire, Achala is non-moving. So the non-moving fire of wisdom is Arunachala. And it is Agnisthala, one of the five elements. So this is the fire element place. So yeah, it kind of, uh, for me, how it turned out was, Mershi was like, you do all of your things first outside in Himachal, figure things out, and then complete all of these things and then come here. And how I often kind of share with people is that, like, this is the end of the road, as in I think the search in a way ends here. Uh, because we are constantly seeking, but it has to end somewhere. And it's very simple, as in like Arunachala just shows you it's within. Like a role of the guru is to reflect and turn the seeker inwards and realize that okay, what we're looking for has been within us all the time. So yeah, Arunachala is the Maharshi. Ramana Maharshi is also, like, I think some people call him, he's been described as the king cobra of all the gurus.
So, in a way, what you do on the outside does not matter as much.
Absolutely not. It's immaterial. You can be anything. I know friends over here who are full time into stock trading, but such ardent Bhagwan devotees that they know this is their Bharat. This is what skill has been given to them. Anything that exists in the world exists for a reason. And the entire journey about is breaking this distinction that no, I am such as, I am a spiritual person, I am in a certain garb. Because it's completely immaterial. And for me, becoming a sadhu was a big thing. I wanted to be in robes. I wanted to, but that's an image I'm portraying. बस आपके अंदर जो है वो तो आप ignore करो. You're coping it in this, and uh, you're kind of avoiding a lot of friction. The kind of friction that one sees at a in a corporate, for me, as in, like, that is like sitting in one place and doing nothing. It's very easy in some sense. So yeah, I think it doesn't matter absolutely what you're doing in the outside world.
But there's also this part of surrendering to your nature. So, you mentioned these people who are stockbroking while being ardent devotees and being on the path. So, it's in their nature, it comes very naturally to them, their aptitude, analytically, and everything. So they're surrendering to their nature in a sense. Um, o- another way some people surrender to their nature is, for example, my last guest Vipul. So he sings Kabir, and he has completely surrendered himself to that tradition.
Yes. So I think this journey was a journey of resolving inner conflict. Now, the path, there are all kinds of flowers in the garden, and every path is the correct path. So the only benchmark that we can go with is that, is there conflict within myself, or am I moving towards a path of aranya? Um, Aranya is conflict. Aranya is no conflict. Wow. And it also means the jungle. So this entire journey is basically that, and you figure out, as in, like, like I have kind of swung in pendulums from first having a job, leaving it all, and then doing all kinds of random things, maybe printing magazines, doing farming, constructing our own, trying to be a manual labor. So only after all of that churning, but only one thing was certain, that okay, I'm looking for something. And this journey for everyone, all of us here, is ultimately that. And we don't know what it culminates to. And then, for me, life has put me here. For Vipul, he finds that no conflict zone in singing Kabir. And then, of course, the universe takes care of everyone.
Yeah, right. Wow. So Aranya is a beautiful word that you just mentioned. Yeah, I would like to know a little bit more about mm, a journey in terms of Aranya.
Yeah. Mm, yeah. Aranya is also the name of the meditation group that I run. Right. And so, yeah, apart from the corporate job, this is also, in a way, this part of conflict also brings me to this point. But uh, for me, uh, so to say, earning money through uh, showing, sharing, or guiding meditation sessions, or doing yoga retreats was a conflict for me. I try to resolve that, and there is no objectivity that you shouldn't charge for anything spiritual. But everyone would have a certain inclination, or uh, so for me, I came at a place of no conflict, where it was very clear that okay, I roll through this, and whatever I have to share spiritually, there is nothing monetary attached to it. And for me, because this is no conflict, because this is such a precious thing. This is everything. The spiritual seed is the only thing there is there in life. So you can't put any monetary word to it. But for some people, this might be their way of expression. So in for my adult people, there might not be this conflict. I think this entire journey of conflict, no conflict resolving, it's that is the spiritual journey, right? As in, this is what it is all about. We all what it's about, and you all do it in different ways.
Wow. I'm definitely going to listen back to this part of the conversation. And so I haven't let go of that idea of ikigai to say. Um, it's a very good lens to have to see where I'm conflicted. And I also usually feel like the way the world works, uh, the capitalist world works, makes us uncomfortable at times. Like, no, I don't want to charge money. If people want to pay, they can pay, but it doesn't always work. And there's always, it doesn't, so the way we want to live, it doesn't exactly match with the reality of the world that we are living in. I see examples of people who have learned to navigate it, and it's generally not without friction. It's so the path that you have taken is clearly more friction free. So because there's distinction, okay, you show up to work, and this is paying your bills, this is buying your line, and then there is Aranya, which is the beautiful name you have picked for your other part of life, the meditation group that you run, and it's completely separate from this world. The idea of money does not apply there, and wow,
One learning over here, I don't know if I'm breaking your train of thought, but is you play by the rules of the market. It's also the path of least resistance, but the and here I'm saying market in the sense, and I could do this for Aranya as well. As in, like, if in Aranya I were to do meditation groups or like whatever, any spiritual activity and charge for it, the conflict for most of the seekers where it comes in is that mm, when you are looking at any activity as something larger than like this, something more meaningful than the other thing. Whereas in whenever anything has taken a material aspect, it becomes the same. Anything in the material world plays by the rules of the material world.
Okay.
Um, so whether you are organizing a yoga retreat or you are running a startup, there's no difference. It's in how you do it. Your spirituality is on how you do what you're doing. So because I have nothing against charging for anything. So the entire crux of these things are finding this again. Ikigai comes back to the no conflict thing only, that if you don't have conflict within yourself, you'll do everything, whatever you're doing, very spiritually.
Right. Yeah, because that's beautifully put. So it depends on how I feel inside while doing it. If I'm conflicted, then it's a problem. If I'm not conflicted, then charging money is not a problem. So it's all about that inner voice, as you say. So going back to when we met in Rakkar, and see you were living that part of your life, and there was a lot of beauty to it. There was so one particular aspect of that beauty that I want to highlight right now is how things would fall into place at a lot of times. How people would come together. How uh, not always friction free. Because again, we were creating a world that is detached from the reality of the larger world, but we were still able to have glimpses of it, even in that offbeat living or communal living. So yeah, so I think what I'm getting at is I think through that journey, I suppose you also learn to you probably learned a lot about yourself with those times. What comes naturally to you, the kind of people that you were able to attract who are still a part of your life. In fact, fortunately, that part of your life has led you to the current position in your current company, where more than the position, I'm talking about the culture that this company has, which is so special. So I just learned about Capillary, the company that you work for now, how the founders are also uh, very serious meditators, and so the company has a culture of prioritizing their employees' spiritual health in a sense. And so this entire journey has led you to this point where uh, I suppose where you are now, you can effortlessly be in any position in any company and still have that balance. But this does help you. This is a lot more aligned with everything. For sure, for sure. So, how do you look at that part of your journey, opening up certain parts of yourself to yourself, or leading you to where you are today?
Yeah. Of course, I think, yeah, Rakkar, Umakkad, Sidbadi, very special place in my heart, and everyone who was there. I think that point in time, it was a who am I? So this question was more. I think that is what makes things special, and uh, even I would like extrapolate it like to, since now my reference is from the corporate world, even Apple or the Salesforce. Salesforce, everyone knows Apple's Steve Jobs story, when the uh, founder of and CEO of Salesforce back in 99 2000, and he was building it out from a room. He had a picture of Dalai Lama, Rizu, and he would constantly, keep exploring. So anyone who has this spark of figuring out life. What is this? I think that is the core essence, what makes things magical, and things kind of work out. And uh, we look at uh, communities in the spiritual circles also in a very limited lens. I After moving to Tiruvannamalai, or just getting these, like I've lived in spiritual communes, and Gumakkad as maybe a travel commune, I don't know. Uh, so in Advaita Vedanta, it's like some say Nisanga, as in you need that support for some time, but uh, wherever you are, the Sangha is there. As in right now, the two of us and the listeners are the Sangha. I'm in the office, that is my school. Uh, if I'm in Auroville, that is the Sangha. So I think one of the key objectives or an outcome of a flowering spiritual journey that you're comfortable in whatever space you're putting. You can be on the streets, you can be a king in a castle, you can be anything. So yeah, I think that part of a journey, if I reflect on, lots of learnings, and I think the kind of risks, or so to say, thing that you do now, if I tell me, I'm like, wow, I said, like in all of those things. Okay. I think it played a very key role in uh, helping one come to oneself.
And I am a benefactor of that. I have, uh, and even today there is just a few kilometers away. We have old space where has done something beautiful, uh, and parts of that community still exist. And so many people's lives have been permanently changed. Permanently changed. Right? I am connected to a bunch of them.
Yeah. And yeah, like, what is that experience like? Like letting it happen through you. Why do? Yeah. I think at that time, or at every time, you're just selfish. I wanted to live in the mountains. I was tired of the Bangalore traffic. He wanted to be there. That is the only thing that was driving me. And the grander scheme of things happen. And but yeah, as you mentioned, like, yeah, the community or the folks that kind of gathered around that time uh, had something special, and everyone does, isn't it? Like how, and this is happening. This is what keeps people alive. Yeah, it is a mystical, magical journey, and it all kind of, yeah, for me, it keeps coming back to the same thing of all of us are here to come to a state of like come to a state where uh, we find home within ourselves, and then life is already flowing through. Life would, and then we'll be able to kind of maybe more clearly see, or yeah, without any waves. Oh, okay. So I'll shift gears a little bit, and we'll get to the part of your life, uh, which at least to me seems very stable and very empowering, which is your partner. So since I've known you, you have been with the same partner, and I recently learned that you're married. Yeah, congratulations. Thank you for that. And what's been the significance of this part of your life on the journey? Very important question, I'm sure, Helen, like for all of us. Uh, I keep coming back to the same point in this question as well, but yeah, with me and Saraswati, we've been together 10 years. So, got married only 2 years ago, maybe close to three now. But, and it's, of course, we have had a stable relationship, but it's not that there were no turbulences within this. So, I think there was a period of a year and a half when you were on a separate ways and exploring other relationships, things like that. Uh, but for me, at least, she's my first guru in some sense. I mean, she's the one who kind of introduced me to the Vasana, introduced me to this spiritual lens, if you were to. say what is spiritual, what is not spiritual. But my journey started with her, and uh, I owe whatever I have spiritually in some sense to that seed which kind of came from her, because uh, she was a complete. She had already surrendered. Her places and all hadn't mattered, and she's always been in complete surrender to life. And for her also, it's been a journey of finding her guru. Like that happened recently, actually. Yeah, a little later after, so to say, for me, Ramana Maharshi became very clear as a guiding light. For her, it was Shirdi Sai Baba. For her, it was a journey of, because when you look at Shirdi Sai Baba, miracles and the kind of images that come about is, she's a very soft person, but also a very intellectual person, like extremely intellectual. So, for something like someone like that to take Sai Baba as a guru is, so that was her journey of, there have been signs for her throughout her life, but she came to a complete sense of surrender much later, right? Whatever is there for her, it is Sai Baba. And Arunachala, Ravana Maharshi and Siti Sai Baba also have a lot of things in common. Uh, if I'm not wrong, Arthur Osborne has written a lot of biography on Shirdi Sai Baba as well. Yes, Caving Mysteries and so yeah, I think this has been a journey of it's a complete like spiritual partnership. As in, we are married, but we had a function with 7 people, including the two of us in Bose compound, which is a Airbnb here. So it was a very very. We just felt like having this, it does signify something as in doing a ceremony. We had our, so what we did was like we put a YouTube chant as the wedding mantras. Had a friend become as a pandit. You know that Adarsh Muda. I don't know if you're from Rakkad again, Babakkad type. Oh, he was the pandit, and that's how we got married. So, but yeah, it has been so stable, or it has worked out because like we don't cling on to each other in that sense, because for both of us the spiritual journey is the primary aspect, and the other person comes second priority.
Wow. There were so many things that I can like try to unpack right now from that one response of yours. And so I think this is not the only conversation we are having. Uh, One thing that I picked up was Arthur Osborne. And Sam, through your blog, I got Arthur Osborne's recommendation. And I'm reading his autobiography, how he came to Arunachala. I'm reading it right now.
My life in quest.
Yes. And he did mention Sai Baba a little bit in that part. And it's surprising to me that someone like Saraswati has found a guru in Sai Baba. And and because I'm still on a journey, so I might also try to visit that part of the world. And because it's a similar thing is said about Sai Baba, that the way Maharshi and Arunachala are ever present, it's not, he just left his body in 1950 and nothing else. So the same is said about Sai Baba. He just left his body, but he is still very present, still with his followers. And while he had this outward way of showing miracles and things like these, but he was not conflicted about it. So, like maybe someone like Ravana Maharshi did not believe in doing all that stuff, and he kept a very simple presence, at least outwardly. But Sai Baba had this. He's known for his miracles, but still, he had also realized the truth.
I would say one thing on that, as in Sai Baba, as in on this miracles part, what kind of like beautifully opened up Sai Baba's story for me was uh, on the miracles. He has only said that I give you what you want in the hope that you one day ask for what I want to give you.
Oh my god! Yeah.
That's like absolute compassion.
Wow. So where it is? So one part of having a partner, coming back to the conversation we were having just a moment ago. So there was some very direct guidance or influence that she had on your life, or Saraswati had on your life. And there's also just the fact of being in a relationship. While you're on the bar, it becomes a journey on itself. It just opens up so much more with it. It just, you're forced to see yourself. Uh, you can ignore a lot of yourself if you are not with someone. Yeah, very easy. Um, but when you're with someone, you're seeing. Yeah. And
You're speaking from experience.
there's this whole aspect of partnership as well. And in just general being in the world, going to work also, there's something similar. When you're not engaged in complex confrontation or complex situations which involve multiple stakeholders managing their priorities, and it's easier. Just sit and be by yourself away somewhere. But when you have to be there, and then, yeah, then you see what's happening within you. Like, so many people, when those conflicts arise, uh, so that's when, in fact, the reality of you shows up. Um, yes, I think I'm doing a lot more talking on this one than I've done. This input, this is becoming more of a conversation. Uh, it's a, you can comment upon that. I mean, you feel that's something you resonate with, or if it's a little different for you, or you want to add to that.
I'll just tie it back to the conflict, no conflict situation. If things within us are resolved, it reflects in everything. And this entire journey is about uh, hmm, kind of, because all of these things are not in our hands at all. And I can say anything, but what does it mean to anyway? And there is no set path also that you need to have a partner, you need to have a stable partner. As a oppose anyone to say anything about that. And relationships in general, I was talking to someone the other day, and like even if the two people, as in not in a relationship of the kind we are speaking of, but दो बर्तन होंगे तो खटकेंगे ही. There will be friction wherever there are two people, and even in one person also, if your person is alone, then the person you see conflict within their mind, the mind will take two, and it kind of so conflict is basically a nature of the mind, and understanding meditation or the entire spiritual journey is about basically seeing reality, seeing the nature of mind.
Let's say if a young version of you starting out today, like they started out in Bangalore and like just feelings meaningless in a lot of ways, and then trying to find ways to get out of there and explore. Um, what would you, if you could, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I think one just a comment on being the first thing, as in this. Mm, it's very liberating in a sense that there is no first, because in this text there is, yeah, that's true, truth is there, and each one of us is rediscovering it. So this joy in rediscovery is immense, and this is what all the sages have been telling us to do. The truth is there, you just need to uncover it, uh, and we do it in different ways. And uh, to your question, I would say there is a lot more to life than we sometimes make out to be. And then for me, that uh, the traffic of Bangalore became a boon in some ways, that I started questioning life. That is life supposed to be like this? So that one question led to this. So very thankful to Bangalore's traffic. But if someone young is listening to this and like feeling a little meaningless, and I would just like to transmit this force through Arunachala and kind of share a message that life is meaning itself, as in and this material world is not as material as we think it is. It's extremely immaterial, and the only meaning or the only thing in life which keeps us going is the spiritual quest or the trying to find our true selves. So explore, I would say, explore as much as you can, and life shows us the way. Mm.
Can. So this is flowing a bit very non-linearly. Uh, Coming back to the work situation. So is one way to look at the work that you do. It's not at all. I mean, so like a lot of people try to find work that is, yeah, I sell customer loyalty software. Exactly. Which right there. There's no way of putting it. Ki this is doing something good for the Finra. So it's something that is happening in the world. So like there is in the larger scheme of things, it's a very small piece of it, and you taking a little role in it and then just participating in that role doesn't matter as much. It's fairly insignificant. The significant part is your own growth while you are taking that role in your day to day. Yeah, for you that's the significant part. But in the larger scheme of things, it's nothing, and it's yeah. So I'm still in this place where I am. I haven't given up on the idea of insignificance. I think I still want to be significant, and
The point of dashboard here is the I. Who wants to be significant? That's the question, because now life will put you in positions, as in like even Goenka ji started, he was businessman working in bank, or he started out with sharing Vipassana with his colleagues and a room around. So uh, this is the inquiry, like Bhagwan's inquiry of who am I. Constantly, if you just keep asking this, no, like, because everything else is, what is this I that wants something special? What is this I that wants XYZ in a partner? What is this I that wants? So constant inquiry, and the power of Arunachala as an is this per like anywhere. If you stay with this inquiry, if this is your path, um, everything else will become so irrelevant. And because the meaning of life or the journey of life is to destroy this I, annihilation of the I.
ah, uh, it's so difficult to like let go of this idea.
Yeah.
And I feel like I still want more drama in my life, like more colors.
Yeah, we want suffering for us is
To be like even if I'm like walking the path, I want like singing and dancing, and I want so like letting go of the entirety of it. So like this part of me is like the I part of me is like that is on Niras. Like I want more Ras in life. Now there's a part that can also see that this is absolute Ras. Like if you can let go of it all and just and because the distinction is not so clear right now. Who is just I and
with the ego sense. With the ego sense constantly uh, trying to keep us trapped in the Maya, and which is fine. As in, it's beautiful to play and everything. You be part of it, but yeah, just recognizing this I constantly, it's it's difficult. But this is all there is.
mm. So I want to get to the point of like separating myself from the play that is happening. But I want to continue to architect this play right now and then get it to a level where it's playing a based on how I want it to play. and then leave it, and then let it lay. Until then, I feel like I should, and then I have this justification that it's like this is how I'm surrendering to my nature, like this conversation, and I have ideas for doing more content, and then expanding into video format and different kinds of like seeing the beauty in different art forms and things like that, and capturing it through camera in different forms. So I have these ideas right now, and I want this to come into life. And once it starts happening, it will take a life of its own. And then detach from it a little bit and I let it happen. But until then, I feel this need to like get to that part where instead of playing,
In this, I think detachment is its part. Right now, when you're doing it, you need to be fully into it. As if like I am running a marketing org, so I cannot be like not involved. So yeah, I'm detached, but I'm fully involved. Like I'm working 16 hours a day per day. No. So if you want this to become something, as in that effort is not something we are negating, that has to be 100% be there. But yeah, I think that's where the intensity part comes in. Okay, this is what I want to do, and then no ask more questions and surrender. Like okay, this is what I mean, and then fight for it. Isn't like no, this has to happen.
yeah, whatever is done, it has to be done with that intensity.
Yeah. And if it has to work out, it works out. If it doesn't have to, don't. So even our job is to live with intensity.
Unfortunately, we live in times when there are no one-way doors for the most part. We can still figure something out. Something can put into place. Okay. Yeah, so that was a good wrap up to my mind as it is running around right now. And this has also been an opportunity to connect with you on a more deeper level. We have these conversations anyways. I have been digging your mind for several years, and I'll continue to do so in the future. But I think for this conversation, we can finish it here.
No, it's a pleasure. It's been a pleasure knowing you over the decade and seeing your journey, see you flower as a human. So wish you all the best. And
Yeah, God's grace, keep it on along. Omar Matila.
Omar Vaspa.
I hope you enjoyed listening. If you would like to stay connected with the guest or with me, you will find some links in the description. I hope to see you in the next episode.